Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Jaya Purani Jai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya Purani Jai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya. Shishi Karani Jai Mayapur Shashi Ki Jai.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Oh.
Hare Krishna, so welcome His Grace Kesi Damana Prabhu. He is from Vrindavan since very long time and she is Prabhupada disciple. And he's giving so many classes in School Vrindavan as well and some other places.
And Les Mahego.
Les Mahego as well, yeah. Prabhuji is from, I think,
Krishna.
yeah.
सब लोग भगवान से आ रहे.
Yeah. So, Manchester, I think.
In this life, yes. I had the fortune to be born in Manchester.
If you can just little bit introduce yourself.
Well, I want to introduce myself as a big rascal. No need to say anything more. First, we'll chant Jai Radha Madhava. We've got a good Mridanga player. Panchatattva, show them how it's done. Panchatattva is from Vrindavan also, right? I was there over a month ago, just over a month ago. There was a big flood. Yeah. And but the place I was staying wasn't flooded. But everywhere around it, because my place was on a higher thing, but 6 foot down, everything. The Parikram Path, have you been to Vrindavan? Yeah, so the Parikram Path was flooded up to here. Yeah. Yeah, and there was one road out to Vrindavan, to Mathura, and that was jam-packed with all the Yatrilok, tourists, cows, goats going out of Vrindavan. And it was like 42 degrees. I had a little recorder, 42, 92 humidity. So don't complain about the weather in Scotland. Yeah, well, that's like my house, yeah, but not 500 foot. So we'll chant Hare Krishna. We'll chant Jai Radha Madhav. Everyone knows the words, right? 1 second. It's okay. That's it. It's all right. Oh, no, a little higher for singing, lower for talking. So, yeah. So Vrindavan has many leelas. You know, the holy place is, this is also a holy place. Prabhupada said all his temples, they are Vrindavan. And when I come here, I can feel Vrindavan because we have Gaunitai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Vishnu Pad, Paramahamsa Parivakajara Sarasi, my divine grace, Sri Lesa Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj, Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai, Lesma Go Yatra Ki Jai. All glories to the devotees, all glories to the devotee, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gaura Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sad Advadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Brindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, Makum Koro Jiva Chalam Pangam Laite Girim Yet Kripatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. So, our esteemed temple president, Prabhupada Prana, asked me to speak on why Krishna appears. Because I think it's the 7th, correct? Is Janmashtami. So I thought we'd just use a seed verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Huh? No, it's okay. We'll just go quickly into it because we don't have extended time, I believe. So I'll read the verse and then the translation. And then you can repeat the translation. Pritranaya sadhunam vanashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanasaya sambhavame yuge yuge. So, translation, Srila Prabhupada. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So this is a very famous verse, no doubt you've all heard this. So the first, I'll read the purport. You report also. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Purport Srila Prabhupada. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. And duskritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or duskritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education, whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well-cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with demons, Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees. who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harasses the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudev were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than to kill Kamsa. But both were performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj, the following verses, Madhya 263 to 264, summarize these principles of incarnation. The avatar, or incarnation of Godhead, descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and the particular form of the personality of Godhead who so descends is called an incarnation or avatar. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar. There are various kinds of avatars, such as Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Shaktivesh avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Yuga avatars, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primeval Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Sri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees, who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of the Krishna avatar is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. The Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy names, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world, from town to town, village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly but not directly in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures, such as the Upanishads, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy. Hukam karo jivachalam pangam tegirim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru dinatarinam. Pritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chuduskritam dharma samstapanathaya sambhavame yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear, millennium after millennium. So yes, 3 points here. The first point, as Krishna puts there, is to satisfy the devotees. He is not coming to primarily to destroy the demoniac. His main concern is the satisfaction of the devotees. And as you saw in the purport, Prabhupada explained there that the Lord, he wants to particularly display his Vrindavan pastimes to the devotees. Because those Vrindavan pastimes, when the devotee worships them and meditates upon them, they become the entry to the spiritual world. Normally, we are always fixed on trying to enjoy the material energy, Ishvaropi. We're trying to control Ahambhogi, and we're trying to enjoy it. But this only entangles us in the material world through reactions to this behavior. We fix our consciousness, so wherever we fix our consciousness, that will be our destination. So by displaying the Sankirtan pastimes, Krishna, by his Vrindavan pastimes, Krishna is giving us the means to fix our consciousness on the spiritual path. And in that way, we will be able to enter those pastimes in the eternal abode when we leave this body. Because, as we all know, but all forget, this life is temporary. So there is one verse here, one of my favorite verses, actually, yes. And Krishna is explaining in this verse, if I can find it, how dear his devotees are. Sadhu Hridaya. Because Prabhupada started the purport there with sadhu, right? The sadhu is the person who is in Krishna consciousness, if you remember. So the sadhu, 246, I read that wrong. The sadhu is the person who is in Krishna consciousness. If our consciousness is focused on the transcendental platform, then the brilliant pastimes of the soul, the perfection of the soul in terms of consciousness, becomes manifest. Our swarup manifests by resonance with the transcendental platform. But when we focus on the material energy according to our desire and our karma, we get another material body in a material situation, as this child is agreeing. So sadhu, also in another place, Prabhupada said the sadhu, Paritranaya sadhunam, the sadhu is the person who follows the Shastra. Yes, it is correct to say the sadhu is the perfected soul in Krishna consciousness, but also the sadhu is the person who follows the Shastra under the direction of bona fide guru and acharya. That way he reaches perfection. Yes, perfection is there when we're spontaneously in Krishna prema and loving Krishna. But also sadhu is somebody who is attaining that platform through following the order of the guru and the acharyas under the direction of the Shastra. So here's the verse. And this is the primary reason why Krishna comes. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham manyate te na jananti naham tebyo managapi. That's in the 9th canto, 4th chapter, verse 68. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. So the devotee is in the heart of Krishna. The devotee is the heart of Krishna, and I am always in the heart of the devotee. So the heart of the devotee and the heart of Krishna are one in that sense. I don't know, my devotees don't know anything else but me, and I know no one else but them. So this is the highly realized platform, but by studying the Shastra under the direction of Guru, we realize that position. There is that verse, Vasudeva Savamiti Samahatma Sadorabha. This is the realized platform. that everything is Vasudeva. Everything is the energy of Vasudeva. The absolute truth is two aspects in one. There is Purusha, Krishna, and there is Prakriti. So this Prakriti that we have been told in the schools is just atoms and molecules is the energy of Krishna. So the Vasudeva Savamiti, the devotee realizes that the material energy, gross and subtle, is the emanation of the Supreme Lord. There's also another verse that I'd like to read to you, very famous verse, first canto. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Maka, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriya, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva para Dharmo, Vasudeva para Gati. So this is the expansion of that verse, Vasudeva Savam. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please him. Yoga is for realizing him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him only. He is the supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know him. Religion dharma samstapanathaya, is rendering loving service unto him. He is the supreme goal of life. So the realization that we are in the energy of Krishna, and this is the emanation of Krishna, and to realize that in an actual ecstatic revelation beyond just Shastric knowledge is Krishna consciousness. Because many people discuss the Shastra and they interpret it this way and that way. And we say, oh, you should not interpret, but you can interpret the words of the Acharyas here and there. But ultimately, the revelation of Krishna as everything is a matter of spiritual ecstasy. At the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni, he was meditating on the form of Vishnu. And then one day, the actual form of Vishnu appeared. And it explains there he was ecstatic in emotion and he was realizing Krishna directly. So this is both ways are there. Shastra Chakshus, seeing through the Shastra, seeing Krishna consciousness, we must do that. Buddhi Yoga, using intelligence to understand Krishna and the philosophy of Krishna. And then above that is the ecstatic revelation. So that is the devotees. They're on that path. Now Krishna says, and Prabhupada explains, that the duskritina vinashaya, to annihilate, very strong. Prabhupada translates very strong, annihilate. So what are the duskritina? Namam duskritina mudha. Duskritina means miscreant, person who does not accept that he is actually within the creation of the Supreme Lord. That is miscreant. He does not think that this creation belongs to anyone, so he has many philosophies, materialism and so on and so forth. And he has many philosophies, but the common point of them all is that it is just separate, put God on one side. He doesn't want to relate everything to the Supreme Lord. So mudha, Krishna gives 4 types of mudha. One is the mudha, is the foolish person. So that person is not very intelligent. Mudha means also ass. He believes I live in this world and I'll just work hard and that will be my perfection. Mudha, naradama. Naradama is the other one. Next one, Narada means very low-class person. Especially in Kali Yuga, there's so much Naradama, degenerate. They drink and they take alcohol and they take drugs and they very undisciplined, sensual life. This lowers the consciousness, the Naradama. And it's very dangerous because the next life will also be low. Then Naradama, Maya Apritagyan. And then Maya Pritagyan is the person whose knowledge is illusory. It's stolen by illusion. For example, in the universities, there may be so many professors, and they are all very learned, and they've all got big labels and many letters after their name. But unless they are understanding that this is the creation of the Supreme Lord, and particularly Krishna, their knowledge is stolen by illusion. So therefore they search. Now DNA has been discovered. They then try, oh, DNA is the explanation. Before it was atoms and molecules is the explanation. And every week they have a weekly magazine called Nature. And every week there's a new scientific theory, right? String theory, multiple universes theories, all this and so on. We have our string theory, actually. Krishna says in the Gita, Sutri Mani Gana Iva. Everything rests upon me as neck beads or pearls are strung upon a thread. Everything is resting upon Paramatma, Krishna energy. Everything is cohesive. There is no entropy. There is evolution, and there is so much going on. But it is all based on the direction of Krishna. Of course, we don't accept Darwinian evolution. But what I'm saying is that the materialist, the scientist, they may have a big brain and they're exercising it, but they do not want, they're using speculation, as Paul and I were just saying. The tendency in the material world is to sit under a tree. And maybe, I remember maybe everyone when they were young, they looked at the stars in the sky and they started to think, what is the end of the stars in the sky? You know what I mean? Is there... So this is mental speculation, right? But we know from Krishna that Bhagavatam, the construction of the universe, there's endless universes, they're floating in the Pradhan. Beyond the Pradhan, there is the spiritual world. But there is actually no end to the creation. There is no void. There is no nothingness, because nothingness, by definition, does not exist. So there is only creation. So anyway, the Maya Aprita Gyan, he's using his tiny little brain situated on the top of the Scottish National Museum in Edinburgh, looking at the universe and thinking, in 5 minutes, I will have come to the perfect conclusion. But then next week, somebody else comes along with another idea, so on and so forth. So anyway, God bless them. At least they are trying. And then the fourth miscreant is Asuran Bhavam Asrita. They have taken shelter of the mood of Asura. Asura. Sura is devotee, Asura is non-devotee. Sura means su, very pleasure. Devotee gets pleasure. The non-devotee gets Asura. Doesn't get very much pleasure from the material energy. The devotee gets pleasure because he concentrates on the Supreme. But anyway, Bhavam Ashrita means this mood of atheism, they've taken shelter of this. Just like my sister, she works in the National Gallery in Edinburgh, so she gave me a free ticket to go up there. And also they have the portrait gallery and so on. So now I'm in the portrait gallery and somebody stands next to me. And I say to him, what a nice painting. I wonder who the painter is. And the person standing next to me says, there's no painter. It happened by chance. So then, okay. So we make friendship and we go to the coffee bar or something. I don't drink coffee. Sometimes decaffeinated, my sister gives me. Anyway, so we go to and we have a sandwich and this and that. And I said, that's a really nice meal. Just like we had a good meal today, very nice. And I think, I wonder who cooked it. He says, there's no cook. So anyway, okay, there's no cook. So then we go in the car park, and he says, this is my car. So it's a really nice car. So we go in the car and we drive around. Let's go up Arthur's Seat, have some sightseeing. I said, this is a very nice car. And he says, is it a Toyota? Is it a Honda? Nope. There's no manufacturer. So then we're on Arthur's thinking, oh, look at this wonderful creation. And he says, no creator. Right? So I think you see the point. Actually, yes, that there is definitely some unlimitedly powerful, omnipresent being or entity or energy that is manifesting this, because we see design everywhere. When you look in, I read the other day that if you undo just one DNA molecule at one cell, it will be 6 foot long. It's all curled up. And inside that, there is mRNA and constructing proteins and all this. Incredible. Just one cell. And it is impossible that this is happening by chance. There's no design. Everywhere you see design. In your motor car, in your jacket, in your everything. Huh? Look at the flower in Prabhupada's hand. It's so beautiful, and so beautiful the scent. No designer. Huh? So this is Asuram Bhava Masrita. So ultimately, atheism is an attitude problem. You understand? It's just an attitude problem. Right? You see the point? You see all this incredible creation, but there's no creator. Why? Because I said so. So this is a miscreation. We won't dwell on it. So to annihilate doesn't necessarily, the soul is never annihilated, but it is to, put them in their place. And we see that with Prabhupada. Prabhupada traveled all over the world, and he annihilated all the atheistic philosophies. And then once that is compared to like pulling up weeds in the field. And then what do? You plant the seed. So that is Dharma Samstapanathaya. Dharma means, many translations, but it means religiosity. But really the real meaning, the real meaning of Dharma is the true nature of an object. How can we understand that? To re-establish the true nature of reality and the soul. Just like, for example, water. What is the Dharma of water in its liquid state? It is clear, it is refreshing. It is not solid. It has a dharma. It has an intrinsic nature. So dharma means that. What is the dharma of the soul, as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport? The dharma of the soul is to be the ecstatic, loving devotee of the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord's devotee. That is the nature of the soul. And we want that ecstatic revelation. But in the material world, people try to take it through drink and drugs and this and football and jumping up and down and so on. They want some fulfilling release. But it is not possible in the material world because we're in the inferior energy. But the inferior energy can seem attractive to a certain extent because it is an emanation from Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, so there is an element of attraction in the material energy. And therefore people write books and philosophies, and we're going to establish this way of life, and communism and capitalism, now globalism in big fashion, and this and that, feminism, and this, we have to reorganize society. And then the real happiness of mankind will be there. Of course, they want to make $1 billion per day while they're doing it. So that is the person. He thinks, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim. These are the things. I want Dhanam, I want money, followers, status, society, and then I want sex life. And this will be the perfection. And I'll get it all from money and manipulation and philosophy, and we can spread it here and there. But in the material world, Kalosmi Aham, Krishna says, I am time, destroyer of worlds, 11th chapter. It is all temporary. So people are striving for something that they are going to lose. So, and that, if it is attained, is not satisfactory, because we are spiritual beings, and therefore, no matter how much matter we accumulate, it doesn't satisfy the soul. Therefore, Krishna conscious is the real Dharma. The real Dharma, what is the real nature of the soul? Yes, you can put it into religion and so many codes, and we have so many so-called religions. But like I said, there is the Shastric understanding, and then there is the level of revelation where people realize their nature, like Narada Muni, like Dhruva Maharaj, like so many devotees are explained in the Bhagavatam, Ajamil and so on. They are realizing Krishna directly and personally. And that darshan of Krishna is in three. One is Vak. Krishna spoke to Narada Muni. Sometimes the Supreme Lord, can we open the window? It's very, people are thinking it's Mangalarti time. Yeah, so let some fresh air in. Is it possible? Yeah. So this establishment of, thank you, Mataji, thank you. This establishment of Dharma, it is through the medium of the sadhus and the Shastra and sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti, Rag bhakti. They will take us to the higher platform. So Dharma, though, in itself is to realize our own intrinsic nature. And therefore, Prabhupada explains that. Remember, Prabhupada was saying that the devotee, though he may not look like he's a religious person, if he is spiritual, if he's realized Krishna, then he's a sadhu. And that is Prabhupada's hinting at the Avadut platform. You know, Prahlad Maharaj, he went around the universe with his accompanier, and he was visiting many Avaduts. They're not necessarily going to Mangalarti, putting tilak on, following regular principles. They may be just laying down there. There's a story about one. He explained, I'm living the life, I'm following the dharma of a python. Prahlad Maharaj said, you're very stout and healthy. Well, I just stay here, and if some food comes to my mouth, it's in the Bhagavatam. So I'm not saying that you and I should do that, lay around outside in the field. But actually, it is stated in the Shastra that the highly realized devotee is so absorbed in his swarup, in his true nature, he becomes forgetful of this material world. So Dharma means that. If we understand the root meaning of Dharma, that it is the true nature of the soul. And Lord Chaitanya said that. Naham viprocha narapati naipi, to do with Varnashram, the social there. Gopi bhat kamalayo das or das anudas. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. So he's referring to my nature, my spiritual nature, as a spiritual being. So Swarup Siddhi is when we realize that relationship. Vastur Siddhi is the stage when the devotee goes to the spiritual world. Prabhupada talks, leaves the material body behind. There's no connection. Now we are performing sadhana. So we have two considerations. We have our conditional life, we have this body, and we have to live in this body. We're a woman, we may be married, we have children, we have duties. Like Arjuna was told, perform your duty, Arjuna, but do it as an offering to me. Yajna. And then we also have our sadhana, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. So the devotee must make traditional life in such a way that he advance nicely and practice his bhajan, his hearing, as Prabhupada said, from the Shastra, hearing from the Acharya, hearing from bona fide Guru, Sadhu, so on, and then hearing and chanting, discussing, and also Smaranam, practicing, remembering the name, form, quality, pastimes of Supreme Lord, and then doing some service that is stressing the body, that like is making garlands, some mental service, like editing books. But then there is also service in the spiritual body itself. Nikunjayuno Ratikeli. So this is the sadhana. So the devotee disciplines and purifies and simplifies his material life so that he can improve his sadhana. But we have to have a balance. We can't become an avaduta overnight. We have to do everything accordingly. So we should associate with sadhu, experienced devotee, and discuss with other devotees how to make the right balance and how to make advancement. So of course, Dharma. Prabhupada is mentioning Dharma, and then he's mentioning Krishna appears to establish Dharma. And as Prabhupada says there, he's coming to establish Dharma. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is an elucidation of this natural condition of the soul, where we are devotees without connection to any material conditioning. So therefore, the Bhagavatam is constructed in such a way. First there is the introduction, first canto, second canto, first steps in God realization. Then there is third canto, what is the material energy, how is it created? And then the fourth canto, fifth canto, fourth canto, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruv means fixed. So the devotee should be fixed. By studying the Shastra and getting good information and good association, the devotee has to be dhriti. That means he has to be determined, because we have to overcome our material conditional life. And that means we have to have a direction. We have to know. Just like if you're in a motor car and you punch in your destination, you will get lots of directions from the computer, right? So whatever your destination is, if you want to rob a bank, Paramatma will help you in that way. But you may be caught also. But if you want to go to Krishna, Paramatma, Krishna, the sadhus, don't worry about anything, because Krishna will guide you in the heart through this circumstance. But we have to be fixed, like Dhruva. You know the story of Dhruva, of course, you're all devotees. He wanted a big kingdom. So he said to his mother, "Mother, how can I get a bigger kingdom? My father won't let me sit on his lap, because the co-wife is chastising," and so on. So his mother said, "Well, I've heard that the sadhus, they go in the forest and they search for Krishna in the forest. So, okay, I'm going." He went to the forest. So then he met Narada Muni. He was only 6-year-old child, I believe, something like that. Can you imagine a small boy? Of course, he was a great Kshatriya, and maybe not a Kali Yuga 6-year-old. Anyway, they would have gone to the corner shop and ate chocolate. in a bad mood. But anyway, he went to the forest and he was so determined. In 6 months, Krishna appeared. Narada Muni gave the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he did that non-stop. I'm going to get Krishna. But then Krishna appeared and he said, what's going on? What do you want? He said, I don't want anything now. I have your darshan, his swarup, his spiritual name. I was looking for broken glass, a big kingdom, but now I've found a jewel. So that is very important. We have to be determined. And that determination will come from sadhusanga and inspiration from Shastra. And then in 5th canto, a very important person is Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat, he was Maharaj Bharat. He became attached to a deer. He became a deer. Then he became human again. And because he was very advanced spiritually, he could remember his past lives. So he was Jad. Jad means dull or not. So he was son of Brahman and all that, but he was very realized, but he would not engage in conversation or mundane people because he didn't want to be distracted from his goal of realizing the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord. So all these figures are there in the Bhagavatam, and then they lead up to the 10th canto, where Krishna explains Golok Vrindavan. He manifests that. And that is the ultimate explanation. And if we read Bhagavatam progressively, Prabhupada's purports, we can build up smaranam within our mind, a vision of the spiritual world. And this is very important, because Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. You see, in this world, usually what's going on is we have an internal dialogue, right? Oh, I've got to do that. My boss, I don't like my boss. But, I've got to get the job done, and I need my salary, and this is that. Oh, and taxes are going up. My football team didn't win. We have this internal dialogue in the mind, right? But what we have to do as devotees, we have to replace that internal dialogue with a vision of the spiritual world. A vision of Golok Vrindavan. A vision of Radha and Krishna. Just like in the Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakara Satmasa, that Krishna is sitting on a jewel throne, the gopis are rendering service, Radha is there, Krishna is under a desire tree fulfilling all the devotees. So this smaranam, we have to replace this material agitation on the gross, in the subtle plane, with a vision of the spiritual world. Don't think that will remove you from doing your material duties. That will help you, because when you see everything in relationship to Krishna, then it is very easy to make right decisions without anxiety. And you're developing your dharma, your vision. Because remember this, wherever we focus our attention, that is our destination. So Krishna appears in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto is there, to give us a vision of the spiritual world. And Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, he is particularly giving the methodology, his yoga avatar, to attain that vision, to make it realized. Just like I said, Narada Muni, he had a vision of Vishnu. Before that, he was taught the form of Vishnu. You meditate upon Vishnu. The Bhakti Vedantas in the Chaturmas taught him. Then his mother died. He was a little older. He went to the north. Every day he would meditate upon Vishnu. And then Vishnu appeared to him. So it's very important. Yes, in Kali Yuga, everything is powerfully aided by Shravanam Kirtan. But we must have a vision of the spiritual world. It doesn't say that don't read the Shastra, just chant Hare Krishna. Don't do Smaranam, just chant Hare Krishna. Smaranam means smaranam upon the name. We can practice breathing exercises using the Maha Mantra. We can do all, this is all in the Shastra. And in this way, morning and evening, actually Tri Sandhya, if you have mantra initiation, you do this in a regulated way at dawn, noon, and dusk. You build a vision of the world. 5 minutes when you're chanting your mantras. This will fix your mind, and because we are all pleasure seeking, that is part of our dharma, we will taste the eternal by this meditation, and we become fixed up in this way. Because we realize, like Prabhuji was saying to me, when you practice spiritual consciousness and practice, you develop a taste for spirit, because directly you are realizing spirit. So because we are spiritual beings, that resonates in our soul, and we realize Krishna directly. So, let me look at the time. Oh, well, we have a few minutes. So, this book is very nice. I always travel with it. Prabhupada Slokas. It contains all the slokas that Prabhupada used when he gave lectures and classes. So it is very important book, because it has many essential points. And I was just talking to Paul earlier. It starts by saying we glorifying the devotees, but then, yes. This is Adi Leela, verse number 5. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Now this is very important. I'm talking about the spiritual world, but we should realize that it's a different energy. It is spiritual energy. Everyone is unselfishly situated in their spiritual body. It is not a sweet version of the material world. It is the source. It is the actual, as Prabhupada says, kingdom of God. The transcendental of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have united in the form of Krishna Chaitanya. I bow to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, even though he is Krishna himself. So there is another verse where Krishna explains, why have Radha and Krishna? This is a very important point. Why have Radha and Krishna separated it eternally? Because the absolute truth is one, but just like in a chickpea, there's two halves. So it's Purusha and Prakriti. Krishna is Purusha, the source of energy, and Radha is Prakriti, the energy. So Krishna is interplaying with Radharani. And why is that interplay there? Everything is unlimited in the spiritual world, and everything is within Krishna. So why have Radha and Krishna entered into this Leela of the pleasure? What is the purpose? So the Acharyas explain that the purpose is to enjoy the bliss of pastimes. Krishna has separated, the Supreme Absolute Truth has separated himself into Radha and Krishna to enjoy the bliss of pastimes. So when we look at the creation, just like we have the sun and the sunlight, so sun and sunlight are one, but they are also different. Sun is Purusha, sunlight is the energy Prakriti. So why has Radha and Krishna, why are they? And the reason is to enjoy the bliss of pastimes. So somebody may say, well, Krishna, he's full of unlimited pleasure. He's Atmaram. Why is he expanding himself into a creation? So we were discussing this, Paul and I, on the way. And why is that? I may be a great musician and I know everything about music, but do I just sit in my house? No. I want to go with other musicians and play the guitar or play the drums or play the harmonium. And then the other musicians, they stimulate my music ability and I feel fulfilled and I'm active. So the spiritual pastime, the absolute truth is ecstatic, not static. Impersonalism means energy. It's vibrating and it is somehow making difference. No, the absolute truth is personal. And so we all like you're all coming here, I'm coming here. Why? Because we enjoy. We see our friends, we have a chat, we do this, that, we have a night. We don't sit at home and think, I am the absolute truth. All pleasure is within me. I don't need to do anything. No, activity, ecstasy, it stimulates the Supreme Lord. Therefore, we are the Jiva Shakti. We are Vibhinangsa. We're separated. We have separated identity. We are part of the creation. Vibhinangsa seems separated identity, separated will. So when we relate to Krishna, we stir up Krishna. Even though we are tiny, Vibhinangsa, Krishna, like at the beginning I say, Krishna, the devotees are the heart of Krishna, and they have Krishna in their heart, and Krishna has them in his heart. So Krishna is enjoying this wonderful, he's giving free will to all the jivas and saying, look, come up with something. So that is what the devotees are doing. Just like Prabhupada. He came up with something wonderful. Oh, he didn't think, no, I'm in Vrindavan, let me sit. Then we'd have no Les Mahego. He thought, I'm getting on the boat, I'm going to New York. I'm going to sort those hippies out. And we're all here because he got it together. Because he stimulated, and then Krishna gave him this, and Krishna gave him that, and Krishna gave him a book editor, and Krishna gave him money to do that. And George Harrison, okay, he'll buy the manor and this and that. Right? So this is the liberated life. You understand? Just like Balabhadra, he got this place together. Right? He came here and said, well, I'll turn this into a temple. I like the view. And we're all here. So, right? So we have to, yes, we're following rules and regulations, but realize your creativity. You're the Mama Angsa Jiva Loke. This is Dharma. We are all here. We're all part of Krishna's Leela. Krishna's Leela, though Prabhupada says kingdom of God, Krishna's Leela is the whole creation. It is unlimited. The Brahman is Krishna's creation. The material world is Krishna's Leela, ultimately. Spiritual world, the Ram, Leela, everything. It is all unlimited. And Krishna is saying, come and join this ecstatic revelation of the absolute truth. And so realize that about yourself. You all have intrinsically a wonderful relationship with the Supreme Lord. And by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and reading the Bhagavatam and associating and having nice prasad, that relationship naturally wakes up. We just have to have that like Driti. Do you see the point? Don't think that we were talking when we prasad, we were talking, he's a special, but actually every single soul is special to Krishna. You understand? Just like if I have 10 children, I love them all. But if material is, I like that one best. It doesn't spit in my porridge in the morning. Anyway, but Krishna's heart is unlimited. So he loves every spirit soul. So in the Uddhava Gita, he tells Uddhava, he says, the best way to realize me is in the heart of every living entity. This is verse 40 to 49 in the 29th chapter, 11th chapter. So this is very important point, that when we see people, yes, we respect people. Very nice. Oh, this person is elder, I respect. This person is learned, I respect. This is my mother, I respect. But the devotee respects everyone, even the hog, dog, camel, and ass, the bird, the bee, whatever, not because of their material situation per se, but because the devotee sees this person has Krishna in the heart. And this spirit soul is Angsa, Mama Angsa Jiva. It is part and parcel of Krishna. So he sees with the eye of knowledge. So Krishna tells Uddhava, like I say, that this is the best way to realize me. Yes, we meditate on Krishna and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, but Krishna says, okay, very good. But if you really want to realize me when you're in the bus station and you're looking at all the people. They all have Krishna in the heart. They are all part and parcel of Krishna. When you're looking at a field of sheep, they all have. Huh? Then you're Krishna conscious. Vasudeva Savamiti. That material energy is the energy of Krishna. All living entities are the expansion of Krishna. And therefore, they should be respected. And then you become sadhu or sadhvi. Because all your desire to exploit or criticize or goes. Because in the first place, you're respecting. And I saw that in Prabhupada. Everyone loved Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was always so respectful. He was a sadhu. So Prabhupada was once asked in Atlanta, how will we know who's your real devotee? Good question. Big darshan. Prabhupada said, he'll be a perfect gentleman. He didn't say he'll be a big scholar. He'll know Sanskrit. He'll have money in the pocket. He'll open 101 temples. No, that's good. Well, yes. But he said he'll be a perfect gentleman. So that is the sign of the sadhu. Like Narada Muni. We see in the Bhagavatam, right? All these great personalities. They're all faultless and sublime. Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote so many. Bhakti Siddhanta and all the great acharyas. They're all oceans of learning. But what they had was sadhu. Sadhunam. They had Krishna in the heart. They were pure. And they had their real nature. So that is the real nature of everyone. To be sadhu. To be perfect. That is Swarup Siddhi. So we should develop that vision. And we should realize that that is my heart. That is my nature. I have everything. I have the Maha Mantra. I have Lord Chaitanya. I have Sadhu Sangha. I have the Sunday feast. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Any question? That's the question. I want more sweet rice. Can I have some? Huh? So you see that point? The point is, realize you have everything in your hands. You have the Maha Mantra. Prabhupada has given wonderful books. Huh? You yourself are equipped with perfection. All we have to do is, like Confucius say, The journey of 1,000 miles begins by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much. Thank you for your kind attention. No more questions? Everyone satisfied? You have? Okay. Well, I did a little bit, but Prabhupada we were discussing, Paul and I came with Paul in the car, and the particular, of course, Prabhupada had many qualities, but his books and his purports, the particular aspect of Prabhupada that's very prominent is that he had the ability to make everything very clear. You know, so get a collection of Prabhupada's lectures. I still listen to them all the time when I'm cooking or doing this or that, and get his books and study them. And you will see that there is a potency in there. It's not that there's some kind of way Prabhupada always put things in a way, even very complex things, in a very simple, clear way. Not simple, but clear way. And if you see that, if you read Prabhupada's books, that I remember you asking. So after college, I went overland to India. I wandered around India for about a year. Then I came back, and I was interested in the culture, and I read many, many yoga books and this and that Swami and this one and that one. I went to the library, ordered books, and then I got Prabhupada's Gita by mail order. And I unwrapped it and I felt, oh, this book has got some power. And then I read it. Now, all the other yogis and swamis, they're good. They give something about yoga, press your nose and this and that. But then I read Prabhupada's Gita, and it was like, I can understand this. It wasn't like, what does that mean? The ultimate Brahman experience is the Tritangular and the third canto, and the Kundalini will rise and will go with it. Oh, yeah, okay. But Prabhupada has that wonderful skill, and that shows his realization of the absolute truth, that he can describe it so clearly, you see. So this is a very important understanding, that Prabhupada, he's given these wonderful books, these commentaries, and in his Bhagavatam commentaries, his servants, many times I heard in Vrindavan, he had many different commentaries, and he would study them and then he would synthesize them into the thing. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada did in 2 months, because he had Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's commentary. So he synthesized that into his English commentary. And in 2 months, can you imagine? And at the same time, running ISKCON, full of people. Prabhupada, he said this about me. And I'm not like that. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Yeah. So Prabhupada was a sadhu, you see. He was just empowered to sort everything out. So don't think everything is, like that. Oh, sometimes in ISKCON we have this problem, that problem. It was there in the time of Prabhupada, because we're coming from we have the conditional life. But we study the acharyas, we read, and we just nice and steady. And then we're on the path of perfection. We should be sure of that. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Thank you for the chance to talk about Krishna and Prabhupada. Thank you for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Was it all right?
Yeah, perfect. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe next Sunday I'll be here. I don't know. Oh, and get this book. This is a book you should get.
Yeah.
Brahma Samhita. Yeah. Can you imagine? Lord Brahma wrote this book. It's incredible. You very nice. You are building good Shakti.